Hello everybody, this is Tovar again with Red Path Performance Group, and today I have another honest review for you. And today I want to talk about the Spartan Storm Pack. I know that usually when I show my reviews you can see that there's some wear and tear on the product because I really test them out. In this case this one looks brand new because it is. So I had the opportunity to test the prototype before it was released, and after the final product was released, which has no differences other than aesthetically it looks a little bit different. It has no differences with this one. So after it was released, I was able to also keep using it. So I used it for hiking. I used it as a krypteia in a couple of events. So yeah, I've tried this pack extensively. So do not be discouraged by the fact that the one that I have right here looks brand new, because it is. So the Spartan Storm Pack, I guess, was the response to having a lot of Spartans showing up to Spartan endurance events with packs by GoRuck, with packs by 511, or any other brands that you may think of. And it only made sense to try to provide a solution for the participants. So that's the Spartan Storm Pack. Full specs, you have them on the Spartan website. I'm going to talk about some of them, and I'm just going to talk about the things that I like, the things that I think that could be improved. Overall, I think it's a good pack, so I'm just going to get right to it. So it comes in two colors. It's always black. The difference is the accents. This is, as you can see, a little bit of a military green. The other one, it's a red, which is kind of nice. First of all, the material and who makes them, right? So don't think that necessarily something made in China, something made in Vietnam, something made in the USA or in any other country is automatically a top quality or the worst quality in the world. It really depends a lot on the quality management that they have at whatever facility, and also on who the people behind the product are, right? So the Spartan Storm Pack is actually made by, or was a, let's say, collaboration with one of the major tactical brands out there. So the people behind this design and behind the quality of the product is definitely top notch. So the material is actually, it's very well. I really like it. It's very, very durable. It's type of cordura that is very, very durable. It's also lightweight, which is nice, especially because, as you know, in Spartan endurance events, staple of the event will always be, or tends to be, water. So it's kind of nice to have some material that is really, really, really tough, but at the same time is light enough that it doesn't take too much water. So I dragged this thing when I tested it. I drag it. I threw it, long distances. I know a couple of other people influential in Spartan endurance that also tried them, and we dragged it, and we never had any holes or anything capped like that. So on the material is quite good. So just the basic stuff, right? We have two compression straps on each side. Compression straps, I really like compression straps because when the pack is not really full, you can just pull on them and then cinch it to make sure that it's not kind of flopping around. They also have these elastic pieces that are just made to manage whatever length of strap is left after you cinch it to your own preference. However, these tend to get in the way, so I usually just don't use them because that allows me to be a little bit more fast in terms of when I want to cinch it and also when I want to release it. And honestly, I don't care something just flapping around. If I'm doing something tough, if I'm doing something that I need to move fast, this is going to be the least of my concerns. Versus, as you can see, if I have this one here, it's kind of very difficult. It takes a little bit of extra second, but when you're tired, when you're struggling, that extra second definitely matters, or that extra ease of use, I would say. It has also, of course, here space for your patch to display, whatever morale patch or event patch. It has an outside pocket that it's pretty good. Something that you want easily accessible. Whatever this may be. I mean, this is big enough that, for example, these type of technical jackets that are easily compressed, you could probably put one here or a pair of gloves or whatever you want. Let's see, on still seeing on the basic stuff, right? So we have the back panel that has, you see some airflow channels. This is something that's standard for a lot of different packs. So this is nice because it allows some ventilation going on. Now let's talk about very specific features for what this is meant to be used, which is endurance events. So one of the things I really like is that it has handles on the top and on the bottom. So in case you're doing some PT exercises in which you maybe have to grab your bag overhead, or just even when it comes to dragging it, if you or one of your teammates has to drag your pack, you can easily do it from both sides. And talking about that, it also has drainage in both sides. So like I said, big thing in endurance events is going to be water. So this portion right here allows for water to flow from the inside. This will be also from where the hose for your hydration bladder would come out of, but it also serves as a passive drainage system. Same thing here in the bottom. You also have the possibility to drain some water there, and it's in the bottom and it's centered, so the water is definitely going to flow that way, which brings me to something that you probably already noticed, which is the shape. So the shape is a little bit, I don't want to say conical, it's not a cone per se, but it is narrower in the bottom part than is seen on the top. I think it's a little bit more evident if you take a look at the back panel, right? So the idea behind it was to have something a little bit more of an athletic frame, so that when you're running, it doesn't get in your way. I think it's a nice feature. A lot of hydration packs are designed like that. I personally never even had any problems with other packs that are square, but it's a nice feature, right? I mean, that's the idea behind it. So that being said, means that also the way you pack is also going to be a little bit particular, because of course your items are going to come straight down, which is, it's kind of nice too, because the fact that it doesn't have a wide bottom means that there's less likelihood for things to be kind of moving around the bottom. But at the same time, you also have to be smart about how you use these compression straps to make sure that really happens, right? This is not the time to talk about how to pack a pack, but just bear in mind that there's certain options there, right? Talking about, let's move to the straps. So the straps have here some Velcro retainers for your hose bladder or any other items you may have. It has, of course, the typical kind of daisy chain moldy configuration, so you can either put some carabiners through it and have some other accessories, or also it allows you to change the position of the sternum strap, which is also something really important. Now, a couple of things about the straps. One, the shape. The shape's a little bit more curved than regular backpacks, which is kind of nice because it allows for big chest. And also it allows for a little bit more freedom of movement when you're having a rock on with heavy weight and you're moving your arms up, PT, crawling, stuff like that. That is kind of nice. They're not as cushioned as other brands, but for me that was enough. I mean, it's fine, right? In the end, you have to embrace the suck a little bit, right? They have also, of course, the regular buckle mechanism to adjust it, and some retainers here. Again, this is something that I think is nice to have, but I prefer to not have them because it allows me to just do things a little bit faster when it's on the run, right? You can see how it really accommodates for very, very big frames, right? When we're talking about the hip belt or the waist strap, these ones also have different types of adjustments as well. Here we can change a little bit how we bring this up, which is also nice because it brings it closer to you, and that also gives a little bit of extra space for this hip pad. This is a little adjustment that I don't see it a lot of different packs. It's nice to have. Again, it's nice to have. It's not something that I will be heavily worried about though. So the hip belt itself, it has pockets, which is always good to have some food on the go, or maybe your gloves if you don't want to wear them all the time, or any particular items that need to be handy for your headlamp, for example. I really like that. It has a regular buckle here. It's padded. It's not heavily padded, but it's padded enough that it will help you with the weight, right? To make sure you don't feel the weight when it digs into your hips. Now, one thing that I really like about these ones is that they have just one buckle right here. As you can see, it's like a pass-through buckle, so they're easily removed. So, for example, if you're using it for something else other than an endurance event, like your gym bag or whatever, then you can just remove these ones and just choose not to have the hip belt, right? If I'm using this for endurance, I would always have a hip belt, even if I have it unbuckled. But this is nice because then it's a very easy mechanism, right? I really like that about this pack. So, overall, good quality. The one thing I would speak before going into the inside is that it's, as you can see, it's a little bit long. It's a little bit long, definitely, right? So this is, I think it comes out at 24 liter, right? So it's a bit long. If I compare it to my Gear 1 here, it's a bit longer, which is kind of nice because it sits a little bit more on your hips, but it's also something to consider if you are shorter. Now let's go inside, because inside there's also some features that are worth mentioning. So it opens. It doesn't open all the way, but it opens, flat enough that you do have access to your gear somewhat easily. Now here there are a couple of features of the pack right here. So the first one is this one, which is a pouch for your hydration bladder. So you have the pouch here, opposite with Velcro, very simple. You put your hydration bladder here. I like this one because it's insulated. To be honest, I've used this in other packs just to insulate my bladder. Right now it's winter in New England, so the water may freeze. So it's a nice feature. Also, it comes with clip buckles. So you can just remove the insert real quick and just bring your bladder with you to the water source without bringing your whole pack. That is kind of nice. It also has, as you can see, it's perforated here in the bottom. So that will also allow for water to come out when your pack is fully submerged. It has good draining system when it comes to that. Now, here we'll look at the inside of the pack. This is what it looks like, your back panel, right? So it has some straps, some buckles, etc. So this is meant to carry your weight. So you can put your weight in here. If you're doing a 12-hour, you will have a weight requirement. And here is where that pouch would be for that. So it depends on what brand of weight you're using or what type of weight you're using. I mean, you can use bricks if you want to. But if you're using a GoRuck plate or maybe a regular gym plate that is a little bit more rounded, then this shape allows you to have, good variety in that. It has some compression system here as well to move it closer, make sure it doesn't move. And then the inside of this buckle, you see how it has a different color. It's because this one it's like plasticky, so it's plastified, so that way it creates an extra friction against whatever you're using for weight. And then just with a G hook, it straps right there, and again another compression system to make sure that it sits there. Now I like the system, right? It's clever, it's versatile. The one thing that I do not particularly like much is that I think it sits a little bit low. So you want the weight to be as close as you can to your upper back. You want your weight to be high. And if I look here, then the bottom of that pocket is approximately here, which is already, talking about this long pack, it's already a little bit more in the lower back area, right? Nothing that cannot be managed. Like if I'm using a GoRuck plate, I would probably buy some yoga blocks or some foam and just create an extra insert to make sure that plate sits as high as I can, in the pack. So it's not a big deal. it's just something to consider. If I mean, I use my GR1 and I use the laptop compartment, I always want to have to put a foam insert to make sure that my weight also sits high on my back, right? So anyway, there's like I said, no real compromise here. If I use my GR1, I usually use my laptop compartment for the weight, and I want my weight to be from here at the top, so all of this is going to be an insert, right? So it's something just to consider that, you know, depending on what type of weight you use, it may sit a little bit lower, and there's things you can do to, you know, have a better advantage there and make sure that it rides a little bit higher. So I've seen it in the field. I've seen them break, just like I've seen other packs break as well. So I mean, in the end, there's nothing really like, you know, water, like really bulletproof. There's no such thing. I mean, enough weight, it's gonna break something, right? But you know, it's a good option. Which one is better? I think it's a matter of preference. There's a bit to it that it comes to branding. If you're, you know, hardcore Spartan, you want to stay on brand, you know, by all means, right? I mean, there's a lot of people that feel that way when it comes to different brands. You know, same thing for the Gut Rock events, same thing for people that prefer to just use 511 packs for everything. It's a matter of preference, right? The pack is tough enough to withstand an event. I hope that this is somewhat helpful. So remember that the one thing that I do want to mention is that it's long, right? So remember that when you're thinking about, you know, what's your frame and what you want to do, right? This is the Spartan Storm Pack. I hope this was helpful. It's February, so the endurance season is about to kick off. So right now they have a good sale going on at the Spartan website. So it's a good option to have. Thank you. You know, put in some comments, put in some questions. If there's specific things that you want to know of how this compares to other brands, or what my preference is of something versus the other one, just, you know, put a comment there. I think that there's a room for everything, and there's a room for everyone in the industry. So it's a matter of preference. But if you want to know my particular opinion, I have all the opinions depending on what we're talking about, right? So thanks for watching, and I'll see you later in another honest review.